On the right are some of the areas that I'm going to try to focus in. Some of these I'll move really quick, but some of them I'll spend a little bit more time on because they're pretty important. But again, the focus today is just getting a better understanding of really being able to use the app. All right. So at the highest level, most of you guys already know this. ZeeMee is just like any other app that these young people are installing on their phone. It's a free app. It's in the App Store. It's in the Google Play Store. They go, they install it. To them, to students, ZeeMee is no different than Discord, TikTok, Instagram. They don't know or think of ZeeMee as like an ed tech product. To them, it's just another, like, I've never heard of this thing until this school invited me in. Like, what is this? This is crazy. And then they're on there 24/7 all day, as they progress through the college search process. So let's just jump into it and see like kind of like what this experience is going to be like. So they open the app, and most of us with any app, we know the bottom navigation are some of the core aspects of the app. Okay. So you've got this home tab, or sometimes we used to call it the Discover feed. So I'll start there in a second. We've got the chat tab, which we can take a look at. This is where all of those colleges or universities the students are following on ZeeMee are going to show up here. We call those their communities that they're in. You could toggle over. There's going to be your private chats or private DMs or even private group chats. Students on ZeeMee can create their own private group chats. This tab, you all as college reps, you'll never really ever probably mess with this tab, but students use this a lot. When you hear students say, there's a part of ZeeMee that's like a dating app, this is the tab they're referring to. And if you've been on dating apps, you might say like, yeah, I see some crossover or some similarity there. But really what it's just allowing them to do is make more connections. And this is especially really used at some of our bigger partner schools where it's hard to know everyone at the school because there's maybe tens of thousands of students. But you've got this tab where based on the school I've selected, it's going to give me a recommended friend of the day. Because my profile, I've indicated I'm a biology major. It's going to show me the other Auburn students that are biology majors or with similar interests, who's been online recently. And again, any of those I could tap into and see all. And then I can even get into, if I wanted to, I could really filter and fine tune exactly the type of students at this school I'm trying to find that I'd like to connect with. And it's always going to update and show you the matches there. And then when you tap into those matches, you're right back into kind of scanning those profiles and checking people out. This is where the roommate match quiz lives. This is one of the most popular features on ZeeMee for students. It is the most basic. It's a 10-question lifestyle preference. Like I think if I do retake quiz, you're going to just answer these questions, just go through. And then once you've answered those 10 questions, let me back out of it. What it's going to do at that point, it's going to show me my matches based on how I answer. And again, this doesn't replace how your school does rooming assignments. All this is just giving students a chance to find some other like-minded students. And all they're doing is they're clicking on, a student. I'm clicking on Ben. I'm checking Ben's profile out. I can see in yellow what interests we actually have in common. I love UFC. So I would literally right now be messaging him, and like starting that conversation to see potentially should we, think about possibly being roommates. Okay, so again, I'm not going to spend tons of time on that. This is a new feature we're not really widely using yet, Study Buddy. So I'm not going to spend too much time on that. But just to show you, that's how students are using this tab and making those more personal connections with each other. Okay, this is the brand new feature we just launched. If you've paid attention to some of the messaging we've been sending out, we've talked a little bit about what's called events and hot tips. This is a new feature you should be leveraging. Some of our college partners are already rocking it right now, leveraging this feature. And what it does is it allows you to create two different types of things. Create events that are upcoming. So think about it. If you've got an upcoming open house preview day, that type of an event you definitely should build in here because your primary whole audience is prospective students, applicants, admitted students that you'd love to know about the open house or the preview day coming up. But if you look, it's gonna like this tab becomes like a customized view for the student based on what schools they're following. When I see a certain event, like what's Mississippi State, this is a trending event. So obviously this particular event is starting to generate a lot of attention. And so it's got the event details. I can really get in and look at the description. I mean, they're linking me right to where I need to go register. Here's other students that have starred this event that are indicating, hey, this is something I'm kind of interested in. So what happens when they star it, if I go back, it's going to always be right in here with my saved events and hot tips, so I could quickly get back to it. So events are exactly what you would think. They're super easy. You're just tapping on the plus button up here. Is it either an event or a hot tip? And hot tips, think of that more as it's not really an event, but just all the unique things about your campus, your local area where you are. It doesn't even necessarily have to be about, maybe you're in a city, so you want to like talk about what life is like in this particular town or city. I always say it's like the things that prospective students couldn't find out about on your website. Sometimes it's the stuff those tour guides tell them, like this is the building on campus that everyone says is haunted. And here's this, like students love that kind of stuff, but like that's not on the website, like they don't. So those are the fun things, like nobody will tell you this, but this is the best place on campus to actually study. And it's not the library. And like, I love this place because it's quiet. So those types of things, I've started to see some of our partners, clubs and orgs are starting to share like a hot tip that's kind of in a way promoting their club and org, because right now it's hard for prospective students outside of a website, seeing a list on your website of the cool clubs and orgs. So bringing some of that to life, right, kind of here in the ZeeMee community for students. So again, just want to quickly show you that. Are you sure you want to quit? Yes, quit. I don't want to add one right now. And again, you can see the ones I've saved. I love it because it's telling me upcoming events. Students that star these, it allows them to add them to their calendar. It gives them a reminder as the event is approaching. You can see some of the latest hot tips. Oh, Mississippi State even did a hot tip. Literally, here's the steps to apply. So again, like they're one of our power users, and they're always doing a lot on the platform. So just wanted to show you that. And then finally, the last tab is your profile tab, and we'll look at some things on here in just a second. So let me pause there just for a second. I want to just give you that quick kind of, this is what the app kind of looks like, how it exists right now, but any just general question about any of those tabs? Okay. And I love it. Everyone's still awake at this point, so I consider that a win. So we're doing great so far. All right, so let's go back over to the home tab. This is exactly what you would expect. Let me actually get to it. Yeah. So the home tab. This is the most basic news feed. Okay. This was Facebook in the beginning when Facebook was actually awesome. Where it was just a chronological news feed, full organic reach, no stupid algorithms. Like that's what this is. So if you have 7,000 students in your ZeeMee community and one of your college reps or one of your influencers shares content, it's in front of 7,000 students. And so that's kind of how this news feed works. We're going to overhaul it and do some other cool things with it here eventually. But right now, it's just basically they can like, they can comment, and it's going to track how many views it's had, how long ago was it posted. So again, if I'm kind of scrolling through content I'm seeing from colleges and universities would be ZeeMee's partner schools. One thing to keep in mind, if you guys didn't know this, before you all partnered with ZeeMee, your school already existed in a very basic way on the platform, but you hadn't partnered with ZeeMee, so you didn't have the ability to share content. So there's over almost 2,500 active colleges and universities, just general chat communities. We have about 180 actual ZeeMee partner schools. So again, there's a distinct advantage you have over a lot of your competitors that have not partnered with ZeeMee. All of these students are on here, those other schools can't get that messaging, can't get that awesome content in front of their students where you all are able to do that. Content's not really the most important thing on ZeeMee. So I don't want you to think like it is on Instagram. You know, most of the other social platforms that we leverage, we're trying to keep an audience like engage with us. And so if we stop the content, well, then the audience would go away. Cause like, that's why we followed you on Instagram to like see stuff. ZeeMee like is not that type of platform. Students join ZeeMee because they just want to connect with each other. So it's great that also you're going to be able to get content in front of them, but they were here before you were here. They would continue to be here if you stopped posting stuff. That's the difference between an audience and an actual community that you've kind of taken ownership of. So again, super basic, but just wanted to show you that's what it looks like when you all are going to be sharing content. Now, well, how do we do that? How many of you like just that are on video right now, I think just maybe 3 of you, have actually shared content, a video or image on ZeeMee? Have any of you done that yet? Okay, so Allison has. Okay, so a couple haven't. All right, so let me show you. Allison, if I asked you, you would probably say like it's super easy, but video is different. We've built it with video prompts and no other platform that I know of is kind of designed this way. So I want to show you, again, pay attention like where we're on the home tab. Sometimes we've got banner stuff up here because we are this year for the first time doing some really cool brand partnerships. If you've been with us, you saw the Ed Sheeran thing and stuff, but sometimes the banner won't even be up there. And this is really more what the home tab looks like. There are 2 buttons up at the very top that blend into the background. And a lot of people are like, I never even knew those buttons were there until you pointed those out. But this is where you start by wanting to either add a video or a photo. So let me take 2 seconds, well, a little bit longer than 2 seconds, to show you the process of adding video because it's designed differently on ZeeMee. It's very simple. It's just different. You're going to start by taking your finger and tapping on add video. And this is the part I hate. Oh, because it's all like I try to get it away from me so you guys can't see me. So as you can see, you notice right away, like there's prompts down here at the bottom. And so if I take my finger like on my phone screen and start swiping, you'll see introduce yourself, show us why you love your college, show us a friend you've met on campus. Most of these prompts are designed to help your student influencers know what type of content to post. If you really leverage ZeeMee the best, you're empowering a handful of those current students to be the main content creators and sharing all of that cool content. But as we know with college students, they don't always know, like, man, the admissions office told me I got to get on this app I've never heard of and like post stuff, and I don't know what I'm supposed to do. So the prompts can help them. And so what you'll do is you'll start by just selecting any of those prompts and you'll tap on answer. You notice right away, the video or image content in the feed is going to be a square ratio. Video, you're limited to 60 seconds. Like nobody's on ZeeMee to watch 10-minute long videos, okay? So just super short video. So if I want to record something right now in the moment, all of us on here know that white circle is the record button. So I'm going to tap on that and it's recording me right now. I know it because it's counting down from 60. So I have a visual indication of how much time I've got left, even a little ring indicator. When I'm done recording, hit the red stop. And it's showing me a replay. I don't have the sound on with my phone share, but it's showing me a replay of what I just recorded. So if I wanted to go next, like I love that, I would click next, or I could retake, or I could X out of it. So let's say I do want to use this video. So I'm going to tap on next, and you've got some options here. Always, always, always at a minimum, give a great written description of video content. Okay, I've looked at studies. Sometimes it's crazy. Like 85% of the time, these kids are on their phone scrolling. The sound is off. If you haven't already noticed this, these kids are chatting in your ZeeMee community all day when they're sitting in their classes at high school. Like kids are like, I'm in AP bio right now. Get me out of here. They're in class, like chatting with other students in your ZeeMee community. They probably can't have the sound on. So a video piece of content that's video is useless to them unless they're really good at reading lips. So, give it at least a written description. Some of our college partners go the extra step, and I wish we had this built into ZeeMee. One of these days, I think we'll do it. We're not there yet. Some of our partners, before they put any video into their feed, they run it through Instagram or something else quickly where you can just already have the captioning on the video itself, like what's being said. That takes a little more time and bandwidth, but you know, they're making sure every student, whether sound is on or not, is going to be able to get the information that was in that video. Now, couple cool little other things you can do. You can toggle on a learn more link, and it's literally going to be a blue and it says learn more link right there with that video content. You can tap in whatever that website URL is. So think about a video that was a call to action. Like, you guys, we've told you this multiple times, but like this Sunday night at midnight's the deadline to submit the application for this scholarship. And we want all of you to apply, like everyone's eligible for this one. So we've just made it super simple. The learn more links right there, click it, it'll take you right to the form. It takes 5 minutes to fill out and submit. So like little things like that, make it easy for them to get right where you want them to go. So you can do that. Schedule for later is the most basic schedule for later you possibly can have. And so I say that because as it's built right now, you can't go in and access and see everything we had scheduled, or you yourself decide, oh, we had that scheduled, but I don't want that to post. If you ever had something scheduled and you realized, uh-oh, we need that like not to post, just reach out to whoever your director of partner success, Devin, Will, or Courtney, myself, like in seconds, we can fix it on the back end. This is usually used by the student influencers, because not only can you record something in the moment, you can upload any video from your camera roll. So like, this is them like, shoot, I've got like so many hilarious TikToks. So I'm going to go on and like just schedule one of these to post on Tuesday night. I have another one post. So it's the type of content, like it's not something we'd be worried about, like an event has changed or something. It works a lot better for them with content that we're not really, you know, it's not tied to an event or something like that. Okay, so I just want to point that out. And then you would just go up and click post. And I'm not going to do that because I think I made myself a college rep for Webster, and whatever I just recorded, I don't want to drop into their feed. So let me go back out. Oh my gosh. Let me exit out of that quickly. Delete. And there's a couple other things. So again, any of these prompts, you start by tapping on answer. Again, I showed you guys recording. Let's see if I can, like in the moment, which is kind of like the circle, but there's the upload just to the left. So if I tapped on upload, same thing. Oh, look there. We see a familiar face of a little asset that I made recently that I shared out. And yeah, so the same thing, I would click on next. It does a little like cropping thing for a second, and then the exact same options again. So that's super easy, but that's just different than any other platform. Now, one other last thing I'll say about the way this works. Oh, also, I know I'm all over the place. These little circles are the most recent responses to that same prompt across the entire ZeeMee platform. So sometimes you just want to like, I'm curious to know how a student influencer at another school answered that same prompt to get some inspiration. So I could tap on those and just, you know, again, my sound is not synced up, but it's cool to see how other people are answering that same prompt if you just wanted some ideas. And the other really significant aspect that sometimes I forget to mention about when you all upload video or images, but more specifically, the way the videos work with those prompts are part of the triggered push notification that students receive the second you click like upload or I can't remember what the word was in the top right to get it to post. So students in your ZeeMee community that didn't even have the ZeeMee app open, if they got their notifications turned on, when you posted that, a push notification is popping up on the top of their phone screen that's like, you know, Hannah at blah, blah, blah school just shared her favorite place on campus to grab food. Like that makes students curious and they tap. Those are the things that are constantly pulling them back into your community. So again, even if they weren't on ZeeMee at that time, there's ways to pull them back in and instantly see that. So that's the power of the way those prompts work. Now, photos, there are no prompts. It's literally like you would expect. Take the photo now, open the camera roll. Oh, my little 17-year-old, we finally were able to get him a car to drive. So I picked that, I can kind of move it around, click next, and then the same options, even though it's a photo. So there's no video prompting with photos. It's just that simple, that easy. Let me pause for just a second. Questions about getting video or photo image content into your feed? You guys good with that? And here's something to remember about a fundamental difference between, if we're comparing, say, ZeeMee to Instagram. Okay, all of you on the call today have an official Instagram account for your school. Okay, someone is the gatekeeper of that account. The only content that gets pushed out from your official Instagram account, there's been meetings about it. It's usually branded, curated. It was a part of the content calendar. It's pretty, it's perfect. That typically is kind of how the Instagram accounts today work for colleges and universities. That's not ZeeMee. Whoever you've designated as being college reps, or whoever you've designated for us to switch on the back end that says these are our official student influencers, anytime they post, there's no more gatekeeping. They're sharing content anytime they want. And if I could give you guys one piece of advice for the content on ZeeMee, we do really, really well on the college and university side of just communicating in more of a transactional information relay. Like if I ask you guys to do an assessment right now, go back and look, whether it was email from your CRM to perspectives, is like, go back and look at like the last 10 things that you sent. And I said, tell me of those 10, how many were like transactional information relay? Reminder, here's a deadline, FAFSA approaching. Now we need you to complete your application. We do great at communicating like that. What we don't really do well is just creating content that's real. Okay, there's a reason why Be Real became super popular and everybody loves using that app right now, because people are craving like authentic, real, types of content. And on ZeeMee, whenever I talk to the college student influencers and I do training with them, I try to tell them that what you're wanting to do with what you share is to create a relationship with people. So it doesn't even always have to be about your school. Just share your life on a day-to-day basis. Just like let people have that window to see what you're really experiencing and going through on campus, because that's what prospective students are really craving. And so that's the type of content that we want to see you and your students create for your school. I'm not saying don't do transactional information relay stuff. Certainly you can say a big, beautiful image, preview day coming up in 2 weeks, with learn more, link to like where you can go and register. You can do that, but just also make sure you have a lot of that great relational type content that's just really authentic. Okay, now I'm rambling and I gotta keep moving here. So questions on that? Everybody good? All right, you guys got this. This is one of those training sessions where I feel like I've just got really talented pros on the call today, and you guys are like, come on, Soup, like we got this. We already know this stuff. So you guys are great. So let's go into more of just like your university college feed. And I think, again, I'm just going to use, are any of you on today from Webster? Or because that was the one we originally had a few people. Grace?
Yes. Megan and I both are from Webster.
Okay, perfect. Like that's why I went with Webster today, because we had several, I think, from Webster that were signed up for today. So I'm using them as an example. So let me go to Webster. Hey, just a couple quick things. Like all of you, this is kind of like your landing spot on ZeeMee. You have this. The way it exists right now, we have to update the cover photo for you. That's the dumbest thing in the world. I keep telling our engineering team, build something into the dashboard where our partners can change that themselves whenever they want. Same with the logo. If you go through rebranding or you're trying to do a little something different with the logo, we have to change that. Some of you may not have realized, and I'm glad Webster has it here, we can put a little bio in for you. So if you've got a little several sentence bio that you want, again, reach out to us, Devin, Will, or Courtney, whoever's your point person. In seconds, we can add that. Keep in mind, you do get organic followers on ZeeMee. There's so many kids on ZeeMee now. You're going to have a kid that I shouldn't say kid, you're going to have a student that wasn't in your data, wasn't one of your inquiries, but just got on ZeeMee and somehow searched, heard somebody talk about Webster, and they don't know anything about you, and they land here. Give them a little something that, like, initially they're like, oh, okay, like, all right, I'm a little more curious about this school. So that's a great thing. Couple things you see, you can tell I'm already following. I could click this and jump right into the chat channels that are available. This is a bucket of students. It's labeled interested students, but think of this bucket more of, this is where students start on ZeeMee. So it's not completely accurate, but this tends to be close to like our total followers, because everyone starts out in this bucket, but they could end up also being in other buckets. If an interested student applies, gets accepted, they're still in this bucket, but now they're also kind of in this admitted community. So I'll show you a little bit more about how that works in a second. Now, we talked about the main feed, the home tab where content lives. Here's the second place your content lives. Now, instead of on the home tab, where if I'm following 3 ZeeMee partner schools, so I could be seeing content from 3 different schools, if I'm here, now I'm just seeing your team's content. Now, I just want to point out, there's a really cool automated thing that we do, and we just turned it back on. Usually we turn it on in January, and we have it turned off during the fall. But we've got this little thing working in the background that can identify when we have one of your students is accepted. Again, we know that because we exchange data with you, so we know who those students are. We'll eventually know who students are that commit. And each day we throw a couple of these in the feed, meet a featured accepted student. I want to tell the students love this. They don't even know how it works, but they're just like, oh my gosh, Webster, I was featured as one of their accepted students. So they kind of get a kick out of it, but we can turn that off for your school. So if for some reason you don't like that, the only potential with it sometimes is, again, it could be pushing your content. Like if you're not posting on a regular basis yourself, the most recent thing you posted could be way down here because there's been a couple days now that some of the featured student posts have happened. So, you could say, for us, just turn that off. We just want the content that our college reps and influencers are sharing. That's all we want in the feed. But just know that like the students love it. And, but again, it's not going to hurt if you turn it off either. So I just want to show you that this is another place where the content lives. Let's transition quickly from that more into chat. So this is what we call this kind of sidebar from the right that kind of slid open. We call it the chat drawer. All of these that you're seeing here, think of it, we call them chat channels, but they're just their own group chats. Like each of these are their own group chats. Now, a couple things to point out. There's different categories. The everyone, again, is kind of a weird label, but that's like that interested student bucket. Like, again, this is the bucket where everyone starts. A high school junior that's following you right now, the only chat channels that they even see that are available to them are in this one because they're not an admitted student. So they're not going to see anything here. They're obviously not a committed student, so they're not going to see anything. And I just want to point out, I'm seeing every single chat channel that exists because I made myself a college rep for Webster. Even an admitted student's not going to see all of these. If I'm a high school senior that's admitted, this is my channel. I don't even see these that they exist. So it's only going to show me the channels that I should be seeing that are applicable to me based on the stage I'm in the funnel, or based on your team provided a certain link that gave them access to like a private or hidden chat channel. That's all that they're going to see. So don't be alarmed. The students aren't seeing every chat channel that exists like I am. This is what you should see as a college rep. You see everything that's available. Okay. So a couple things about the chat channels I always point out. most of you should know if you've been on the app at all, the general chat is where most of the activity really tends to happen on a regular basis. That's where the prospective students, even once they're admitted, they tend to still, this is kind of like just their home chat channel. It looks like they've been sharing pictures and stuff in here. I don't know what was going on, but that's as soon as they get on pets, they will start sharing pictures of pets for days. If you ever want to like get chat going, you feel like our community, like things have been kind of quiet, just get some student to drop a picture of of their pet and say, I need to see pet pics, you guys. I'm like really stressed today. And then it'll explode. But the thing that I point out about the general chat for all of you college reps, please hear me on this. Do not chat in this channel. If at all, unless something crazy happens that you've got to step in and handle some type of situation. As a college rep, I don't want you all chatting in this channel because it really changes the vibe of the channel. All right. And the best way I can describe this is, again, my 17-year-old is here at the house. He's upstairs. We've got the kind of big gaming room upstairs, and all his friends are up there with him. Okay. And I can hear them. I'm down here and I can hear them and I can hear what's going on. And they're having a blast. It's great. What do you think happens as soon as I go up there? And I'm like, hey, what's up, kids? Like, let me hop on the ping pong table. I want to like, they're going to be like, dude, what is your dad doing? Like, he is so cringe. Like, they're going to stop talking the way they were talking. It's going to change the vibe of that room. That is the exact same thing that happens when college reps jump into the general chat, because it's just like, oh my gosh, the adults are watching everything we're doing. So that's why, I'm not saying it's the end of the world if you've done that or if you've posted something in the general chat, but that's why we create these other channels for you. We have an Ask a Counselor channel. All right. Like, this is great. Like, the students will know, like, that if we need a counselor, if we need a college rep, we know how to find you. We'll post the question over here and you can like engage with us here. And so again, look, you guys stand out when you're in the chat. You got a big college rep badge next to your name and you're a different color with your texting. So again, just some best practice. The announcements channel, a very powerful channel that's underutilized. Every student that joins your ZeeMee community automatically is in the announcements channel. This, even though it looks like I can chat, the students, this is blocked out and it says read only. This is the only chat channel that students can't chat back with you. It is just broadcast to our community, things that are important that we want them to know. Now, however, you can include things like polls. So they can react to things, they can click links, they can watch this video. They just can't chat. So you could have information about an upcoming preview day and include a poll that says, option A, yes, I'm signed up. I'm going to be there. I'm so excited. Option B in the poll is like, didn't even know about it. I would love to have more information. C, like, I can't make it to that one, but would love to maybe go to one in the future. And you'll see who reacts to that poll. So again, just the announcements channel is very underutilized. I think many colleges and universities, still their mindset is the way we communicate with these kids is via email. We've got Slate, we've got the most sophisticated CRM, and we've got all these things. Like, look, I can tell you, for my 17-year-old who is a really talented student and had an extremely high score on the PSAT, so like he's getting it, like his inbox with email stuff that's coming in the mail. Ask me how many envelopes he's opened from a college or university. None. Like, I have to go in and look at his email because he's like, I don't care. So we still are trying to communicate with a generation of young people that's like, that's just not the normal way they communicate. But you hit them with a push notification or like an announcement channel that triggers all those push notifications, instantly they've got the information that they need. So just don't ignore this as another really powerful channel you have to leverage to get important information to your students. And another thing, and I'll wrap on just kind of the way this is set up, those were the channels in the everyone category. We also could create, if you look, like there's actually an announcements channel in the admit bucket, because maybe you want to, at some point, maybe here later in the spring, like the announcement we're making is just for our admitted students. So we're going to post it from this one so all our admitted students get it. Okay, so again, I'm not going to spend more time on it because we could talk a lot about we can rename these, we can brand them a little bit. Some of our schools, it's like Mississippi State, it's Future Bulldogs instead of General. So if you ever have more creative names or an emoji that you like to use that goes with things, like some of our partners add emojis to the channels to make them, stand out a little bit more, we can do that. Let me pause. Questions on chat channels, just in general here. Any questions on chat channels?
Yeah, sorry, Sue. I was having to Zoom in a while, so I couldn't figure out how to unmute myself, but it's good to meet you. I'm at Westminster College in New Wilmington, Pennsylvania, so still learning a lot about ZeeMee. And so one of my focused areas for the upcoming weeks is just establishing college influencers. And I was just generally curious, as a college rep, am I able to edit those? Because I was looking at it the other day and it said like banning a student from like being a college influencer, but I didn't know exactly what that meant. And so I was just looking for clarity on college influencers and the best way to get them updated in our system.
So the best way, so there's a couple things. I know there's a way that we on the back end can designate like a super counselor. And then I think there's a way the super counselor, I don't know if it's through the dashboard, but there is a way if it's working. Who knows? Sometimes things are working and they're not working. To me, still the simplest way to do it, there's a little bit of manual work. So again, you have either Devin, Will, or Courtney, is to simply just send an email and say, here's people we need removed that are currently as influencers. Here's who we need to add. And there's a little bit different process. College reps, you're going to get a link that's valid for 72 hours. So a college rep has 72 hours to click that link and go through the onboarding, and then they're kind of switched over. For the influencers, what we really need is just the mobile number they've used for their account. So it works best if they've already installed ZeeMee. Then just tell us, hey, here's 3 new students we've got, here's their mobile numbers. And then in seconds, we're going in, finding them, on the back end, and we just toggle something that just instantly now gives them that influencer status. So that's the easiest way to do it right now.
Okay, great. I wasn't sure, so I'm glad I asked. Thanks, Sue.
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, I love it. Any other thoughts, questions? I'm going to transition to really important stuff, moderation. Okay. All right. Listen, you guys, this is where it's like, we'll get in here. Let me go back to, well, I follow way too many schools on this platform. Back to Webster. Let's jump into chat. Let me go in just into general chat. Okay. Okay. I've done this long enough with these teenagers and social media. On every platform you can think of, I've leveraged them all. What I've learned is it's not a matter of if something's going to happen. It's a matter of when something's going to happen when you're dealing with teenagers on social media. And listen, ZeeMee, we're lucky. We don't have a lot of issues on ZeeMee, but at some point, there's going to be a student in your ZeeMee community that's going to do something stupid. They're going to post something inappropriate. They're going to be in there bullying, harassing, trolling. It's going to happen. So I want to just show you a few things that you, any other college rep, or any of your student influencers also have the power to do this. So at any time in chat, let's say it was Mason here, and Mason was like, we're looking at this and we're like, OMG, what do we do? That's got to be deleted immediately. Wildly inappropriate, offensive, graphic content. Any of your college reps or any of your student influencers is going to kind of maybe be hard to see, but you can take your finger and long press. So I'm actually going to I'm going to press down on my phone screen where he says, crikey, you had cancer. I'm going to post that. Now, this is what it looks like on an iOS device. If you're on the call today and you're Android, it's a little different. Those options are kind of up here at the top, but the same thing, you have the ability yourself in 1 second to click delete, and that's gone. Okay. Now, what everyone always says to me the second I tell them that is like, that's great, Soup. None of us are watching this 24/7, and kids are in here talking at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's probably when something's going to go sideways anyway. So like, what happens at 3 o'clock in the morning? Okay, let me show you a couple things. One of my favorite things I love about Gen Z and these young people today, like they love to report each other. And like they report each other for petty stuff. Like they don't care. Like they're just like, we don't do that in here. And so they instantly report. So again, if that happened at 3 o'clock in the morning, they're going to click on Mason's little profile pic like I just did. They're going to go down to the bottom right, those three little dots, and they're going to go to report user. They love sharing the screenshot of exactly what it was that Mason did. So they can even share a screenshot, select a category, and then they submit that. And I'm actually going to cancel out of it. Are you sure you want to cancel? Yes. And so ZeeMee collects all that data when students are getting reported. But the cool feature that we built is this auto ban, auto lock feature. So at any time on ZeeMee right now, if a user gets reported by 5 other users within any 30-minute window of time, that user that got reported, their account is locked down, content is removed and stored on the back end with us at ZeeMee, and that student is just locked out. They can't do anything like that on the platform at all. And so we may reach out to you the next day and say, hey, you have no idea this happened at 3 o'clock in the morning, but let us go through and show you what happened. Mason was auto banned. Who is he? Like, is he really one of your applicants? Do we need to actually have a conversation with Mason? Do we just need to, remove Mason from your community? So that's rare. That doesn't happen a lot, but that's a great feature. And again, all of you college reps and your student influencers, if you tap on the 3 little dots, a couple of the options you have, if there's a student that like this student does not belong in our ZeeMee community, like we don't know who this kid is, they're not one of our applicants, then just go to their profile and click on ban from community. You've instantly it's almost like your school doesn't exist on ZeeMee anymore to them. There are certain use cases for ban from chat channel. The best one, some of our partners that have been with us now several years that have thousands, even their current students on ZeeMee, you'll tend to get some current students that are not your official influencers that just really want to be helpful and answer all the questions. And, they're in the general chat like, oh, the party scene here is wild. And then admission counselors are like, oh my gosh, why is this current junior here telling these kids about the crazy party scene? Like, that's not what we really want to be sharing with them. So it's not that you want to ban one of your current students from just being in ZeeMee, but you could ban that student from having access to the general chat channel. So that's kind of a use case there. So you don't have this one. This is a ZeeMee employee where like right now you could, if you did call us and say, hey, you guys take a look at Mason and the stuff he's been sharing. And like, we probably would already know because he would have been reported, but we have like kind of a zero tolerance. We just remove kids from ZeeMee. Like if you violate our terms of service and do that kind of stuff, fine, go play on Reddit, go play on Discord, do all that on those other platforms. Like we just don't allow students to behave like that on ZeeMee. So that's how we can quickly terminate a user. That would prevent that user from ever being able to create another ZeeMee account with that same mobile number. So sure, they can get around it and find another way to get a mobile number to create an account, but that's just the most important things that I want you to take away from this, knowing that you are empowered to moderate and curate and kind of keep your community safe the way you want to. The only thing I would say to that is you all as a school, one of the kids in the general chat are going to talk about all kinds of stuff. And sometimes like it's my favorite form of entertainment. I just get on there and lurk in these chat channels. I'm like, these kids are crazy. Like, I can't believe they're just putting that all out there and talking about this stuff. And sometimes like you have to decide what you allow and what you don't allow. Many of our partners don't care if they're using cuss words. It depends on how they're using the curse words. Like in the context, we've got some partners that are very, conservative faith-based institutions, and they really don't want language like that. So like they kind of curate that, but every school decides kind of what we allow, what we don't allow. But again, these students are smart on ZeeMee. They know it's a shared platform. They know you can see what they're saying. So that keeps them in line most of the time. So let me stop there. Any questions on moderation? Because we're running close on time here. Any just thoughts or questions, concerns about, what you would need to do in any situation? Okay. We're lucky. We don't have a lot of issues, but you will at some point. Yeah, something will happen at some point. I want to make sure you guys can handle it. Lastly, I just want to show you guys this. The one last thing I want, here's some homework for you to do if you've not done this. So I'll go back and continue to use Webster as an example. If you ever want to see kind of just from the app who is listed as our official college reps or student influencers, you can see it here. Any college rep that really is going to play an active role in the ZeeMee community, like you're there answering questions in the Ask a Counselor chat channel, or you're posting announcements, you need to have a great profile, okay? ZeeMee is about building connections and relationships with these prospective students. So, if they go and they click on Andrew, because they're like, I want to kind of get to know Andrew. Okay, we're not getting to know Andrew with this. So, but what most of us do when we create our account on ZeeMee or any app, we just want to get through the onboarding as quickly as possible. So we're just kind of like skip, and then we forget to come back to it. So let's see another example. Okay, this is what we want to see. Like, create a great bio for yourself. You've got the college rep tag. You can answer some of these fun fact questions. This is going to allow that prospective student, this is a third place where your content lives as well. So all of the video and images you yourself have uploaded also live with your profile. But to do that, all you have to do is go to the profile tab. This is the most ugly UI on any app I've ever seen. At some point, we'll make this look better. But just pointing out the edit profile here, tap on that. And you guys, this is super easy. Profile pic. You can adjust your name if you need to. I love when I see admission counselors that talk about, this is my travel territory. So in the fall, you'll probably see me at some college fairs in these cities, in this state. I have some of those interests. Some of these things are student related, so you don't have to like fill out everything. Lastly, you're going to roll your eyes at me, but I say this in every training. So college reps, this is not where you're putting your personal Snapchat account. Okay, none of these kids need to be connecting with you on Snapchat, but you could put your school's Instagram account. You could put your school's official YouTube channel, okay, and drive students to some of your other social channels. And again, once you've got all that, you would click save up at the top. Here's where those fun facts were. Many of these you could answer that are fun. Some of them you shouldn't answer, like relationship status, but a lot of these you can answer. And if you want to see what your profile looks like to everyone else, you would just tap on this little button right here that looks like an eye. And so there's what I look like when somebody sees me on ZeeMee. If they clicked on my little profile pic, I've got the college rep. It shows this. I don't know why it says friends. It should be saying Webster right now. It's got the social channels. So if I tap on that, it's going to go to ZeeMee's Instagram account. It's got my little bio, some of those fun facts, and any of the content that I've shared or I've posted. So if you've not really created a great profile, I encourage you, or you've got other members of your team that are playing a role and you've noticed, oh, they've not done that. That's your job, is to kind of remind them, hey, like, you need to make sure you've got a great profile so these students initially have a sense of who you are.